Hi, I thought I would give you my opinion on the characters here in the Star Ocean until the end of time. Um, basically, what their strengths and weaknesses are, what group order you should have, and other things like that. So, I'll be skipping the basic battles at the beginning where you're escaping from the resort area because really, the game doesn't start there until you get to Vanguard 3 anyway, so. But I will start off here with Fate Lion God. I consider him a light fighter. His main strengths are that he's got a pretty good attack range um, with his swords, but he has pretty balanced symbology. Although most of it is offensive, he can and probably should have some defensive ones like healing and cure condition and stuff. The other pretty good strength for him is that he can wear heavy or light armor, which can actually save you a bit of fall if you really need it for something else. Um, his main weakness is he can overuse his symbology if he's a CPU character. That happens quite often where they will continue to use symbology until they have like maybe half of their magic points, and then they'll just jump around hoping that they will regain them somehow, and it can get pretty annoying if he's not your main character and he's one of the CPU controlled ones. So, the second person is Cliff Fitter. I classify him as a heavy attacker. So, um, his strengths are that he is probably the strongest attacker in the entire game. At least for what my configuration usually is. So, um, his other real strength is that he can do magic point damaging attacks that are non-elemental based. Um, that can come in really handy, especially later in the game. So, um, his main weakness is like Fate, he can overuse his symbology if you give it to him. He doesn't have symbology by default, but you can give it to him with I think it's like common support symbology or whatever. So, um, yeah, he's actually pretty slow for most characters. Movement wise, and most of his actual physical attacks are pretty slow unless you have him set up with many rapid fire attacks like electric fists and stuff like that. Um, his actual physical attacks are pretty short range, so you might want to consider putting a couple of longer range ones on for his strong attacks. Um, let's see. Okay, the third person is Nil Zulfer. Um, I classify her as a symbologist. Um, uh, Pretty good balance of symbology, a lot of attack and defensive ones. Plus, she doesn't overuse symbology like many of the other characters. She will actually do a pretty good balance of casting symbology and attacking. So, um, she is pretty fast. Um, she, of course, is not the fastest user, but she's faster than Cliff at least. She is a good person to have as a CPU controlled character. Um, her armor usually increases her intelligence. Um, there are exceptions, but uh, it's actually pretty good to increase her intelligence because, well, she's a symbologist user, so um, her weakness is that she has a pretty short range physical attack. Um, Granted, it is a little farther than Clip's one, but with the basic weakness of her actual physical attacks, she is one person that you might want to keep a little way in the battle. So, also, her armor is actually pretty weak. So, Roger Huxley. I usually avoid using him at all costs because, well, I said it before and I'll say it again. Roger sucks. Um, let's see. He's he's got some okay strengths, but strong armor and heavy physical damage. So that's about it for his strengths. Um, for his weaknesses, he is pretty slow, and he's got short range attacks. So I would avoid using him. So um, you might want to use him if you want to challenge yourself and do like a thing with a Roger as your only character or something. But um, then we have Ardre Lasvard. I would classify him as a symbologist. He's got a wide range of symbological spells. He's got a pretty high amount of magic points, and he actually has some okay range considering he uses swords. Um, the bad thing about him is that he can overuse his symbology or his attack, depending on what your setup is. And basically just set to avoid the other one. So, um, also he's got really weak armor. A lot of his armor is kind of specialized. Um, and usually that'd be a good thing, but unfortunately it's specialized on the bad side. So, then we have Albel Nox. Um, Albel I consider a light character. Um, for strength, um, he's actually pretty fast, not only with his movement, but his actual attacking. Um, he's got a pretty good range. He uses swords also, not the same ones that Fate uses, but he does have swords. And he's also one of the best comboer if you're into using a whole bunch of combos with the guy. So, um, as for weaknesses, he's got some pretty weak armor for what he usually does. Usually he likes to be in the thick of the battle, and he does not really have the armor for that. Um, and he is like Cliff, where he only uses symbology if you actually give it to him. So, Maria Trador. Um, Maria is actually a pretty good fighter. I classify her as another light character. She's the only one that can use guns, uh, at least to their full effect. So, she has an excellent attack range, as long as you have some good ones set up. Um, she is one of your fastest characters. She also uses support symbology, so she can be used to enhance your other characters, like say Fate's attack or his defense or whatever. So, um, she is one that you might want to consider putting in your actual group. Also, her magic point damaging attacks are not elemental based, which again can be useful later on. So, um, as for her weaknesses, I'd say she's